specialist on healthy pets, and president and fourth-generation co-owner of the all-natural pet food company, Muenster Milling. We say good morning to Mitch Felderhoff. Mitch, thanks for joining me in Memphis. How you doing?
Yeah, any better than I couldn't stand it. Thanks for having me.
I love that. I may steal that answer for later today. I'm a pet owner. They make our lives so much better. We want to love them, and oftentimes, like parents do with their children, sometimes they use food as comfort food, and I guess maybe that can also translate to our pets.
Oh, 100%. People do it all day long.
So what are you seeing? What are you hearing regarding pets and their physical health during the shutdown? We've got more time with our pets. Do we just think, oh, I guess it's time to go feed the dog too, or the cat?
Yeah, I think when a lot of people go to the fridge, they when they grab something for themselves, it's not uncommon to toss something down to the dog. And I think the first 3-4 weeks of the quarantine, most people's dogs were probably getting an extra 2 or 3 walks a day because the weather was nice. And as it's heated up and people have kind of locked down inside the house, everyone's packed on a few more pounds.
The U.S. government has put so many numbers on the can of food or a box of food, and we can follow numbers like grams of fat, calories, and all that. Is there an easy way, or is there a way to know and to track what we should be giving nutrition-wise to our pets?
Yeah, I mean, the simplest thing to do is just look at your dog, and if they look like they're a little heavy, it's time to feed a little less.
Okay.
And, that every dog is different genetically, just like people. I mean, we all have the friend that can eat 7 cheeseburgers and not gain a pound, and we all have the friend, or maybe it's us, that can eat 2 and we gain 9 pounds.
Yeah.
And dogs are no different.
Mitch Felderhoff joining us on Memphis Morning News. And are there some things that we need to keep an eye on that can or on that box or on that bag of food that we have for our pets? Are there some words that we need to be cautious of if we see them on the container?
Yeah, I mean, I would drift towards higher protein, higher fat foods for the dog. They're designed to be carnivores by nature, and so they need less starch, less carbohydrates. Especially if you start seeing a bunch of corn and wheat in the food, you want to stay away from it. And then from a treat standpoint, you want to feed more meat-based treats. I mean, one of the healthiest snacks you can give your dog is a piece of meat from the fridge. If you're going to give them something, give them some protein and fat.
Okay, excellent. And you bring up a good point, because I am guilty of this too, because back in March and April and spring, the weather was absolutely fantastic. So I was out twice as much walking the dogs, and I guess it is a case of simple math. If you're not exercising the pets as much, or if they're not getting exercise on their own, then simply maybe step away from the bowl. I mean, it's always been an inexact science in our house. It's like, well, okay, a scoop of food for you, a scoop of food for you, but I guess it's time to maybe just take a little extra time, and just like people, pets can lose that weight pretty quickly, right? If you're consistent in what you feed them nutrition wise.
Oh yeah, it can drop off in as little as a month with some intermittent fasting for the dog, and just skipping a meal or two here and there, and reducing the amount you feed. It can have a dramatic effect.
One more question for you, Mitch, and this is maybe more for my own personal sake. What's the latest in a day typically that you should feed a dog or a cat if they are kind of eat by appointment? If you know they're going to walk up to that bowl and eat everything in that one sitting and they're not nibblers, what's the latest you should put food down?
It really doesn't matter.
Okay.
If you're only going to feed them once, it doesn't matter if it's 5 a.m. or 11 p.m.
Okay. All right. Very good. Mitch Felderhoff, thank you for joining me on Memphis Morning News. Muenster Milling is the name of his company, fourth generation. He's been the custodian of that. Thank you so much for sharing your insight and maybe helping us help our pets live a little bit better and live a little bit longer. Appreciate you, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.